How's it going, gang? Chris Card's back. Private signing return time. I've got 5 returns to open up today. So when they don't sign through the mail, you have to pay the freight, and you got to go through a private signing. Maybe you've got a jersey, a bat, a ball, something you want signed, but don't want to trust it through the mail, or maybe these guys don't sign through the mail. You got to go private signing. That's what I did here on our first return, which is going to be a Carl Yastrzemski 1987 Topps Turn Back the Clock card, which cost $135. Now, he does not sign through the mail. In fact, he refuses all mail sent to him. Only way to get this guy, and if you're going after a set like 87 Topps cards, you know these Turn Back the Clock cards are going to cost you a little bit of money because there are a lot of vintage players on these cards. So, Yastrzemski has signed 8 different private signings since 2020. Way back in 2017, he was $60. 2019, he was $90. And since 2020, he's been at least $100, ranging up to his highest, which is, unfortunately for me, $135, which is what I paid. Tom Moore has been the only one that's handled him over the last 5 years or so, and he does a great job, so nothing bad to say about him. This was a very smooth private signing with Carl Yastrzemski. 2 thumbs up from Chris Cards. Let's move on to our second private signing opening. This next envelope is stamped from Hartford, Connecticut. 2 types of private signings. We got the mail-in, and we've also got the in-person private signing. In-person, of course, is preferred. Mail-in, there's a little bit more, a few more variables involved, which puts your items at more risk. So it doesn't matter where these envelopes come back from. And we got Roberto Kelly on an 89 Upper Deck card I needed for my autographed 89 Upper Deck set. 3-time World Series champion inscription. That cost me $5. The card itself cost me $15 for the signature. So $20 all in for this 89 Upper Deck Roberto Kelly card I needed signed for my set. Came out great. He actually has a signing going on right now for $10 a card and $5 for inscription. So I could actually save $5 if I would have waited. But you just never know when these guys are going to stop signing or when they're going to just, something bad happens to them. You just don't know. So you got to get it when you can get it. So glad to get this Roberto Kelly signed for the set. He's been doing a private signing at least once a year since 2020. He also has a private signing in 2016 and 2017, according to sportscollectors.net private signing tab, which is a great resource if you want to find people that are signing in the future or people that have signed in the past and maybe how often they sign and what they charge. So he is actually signed for $10, $12, $15, $20. So I'm pretty happy with what I paid. I got in the correct range as far as his costs are concerned. Nice to get Roberto Kelly back for my set. Let's move on, guys, to our third private signing return. And for those that are joining me for the very first time, yeah, I chase 74 Topps, 84 and 87 Topps, as well as 89 Upper Deck. So I do a lot of private signings, lots of TTM of those years specifically, trying to get, of course, as many of those cards and those sets signed as possible. Our next one here from Florida, Lenny Faedo. Faedo? Not sure. He played for the Twins for 5 years back in the 80s, of course. 1984 Topps I needed for the set with his debut inscription on it, of course. Needed to get some sort of inscription on it. The inscription was $10. The signature was $12, so $22 all in. Lenny's a strange one. He's an odd bird. There was no TTM return from him for the longest time. When I sent this off in July of last year for the private signing. He did a private signing in 2019 and a private signing, of course, late last year, which I was involved in, and that is all he has done. So, however, check this out now, recently. He is getting a bunch of returns. You're getting a bunch of returns anyway. Of course, 3,000 plus days, 2,000 plus days. These cards were held on to for many years before he signed and returned them. So seems like he went through a backlog this year in July and perhaps also in April and signed some cards and finally sent them back. So if you moved, great. If you moved, you're out of luck. But if you did move and you sent to him a number of years ago, you got your cards back. So I wasn't taking that chance with this private signing. Of course, these returns came back after the private signing had already taken place. So I already made my commitment to get this card signed via private signing. Anyway, let's move on to our next private signing return. All right, gang, this one's from the Hartford area as well. We got 2 stamps on this, my K9 stamp, as well as an extra stamp for some reason. Actually, this is pretty old. I got this back in 2020. And it's Jesse Orosco. Jesse Orosco here. Private signing. Before 2020, say before like April, maybe August of 2020. Let's go August of 2020. You could not get him through the mail. You could only get him through private signings, which he did every year or so. Prior to that, no through the mail for Jesse Orosco. Maybe a little bit back in 2006. But Jesse Orosco now is $5 a card, and he'll inscribe it if you ask him. Back in 2020, I had to pay $20 a card for the inscription, as well as the signature. I made sure I got my 87 and 84 and 89 number deck cards taken care of. And yeah, that's a bummer because just after this private signing, he started basically signing everything like a madman for the next 4 or 5 years. So good on you guys. Of course, nowadays, getting his card signed. Of course, I've sent some off to him as well and got them signed recently just because I had the cards and he's pretty inexpensive. So pitched in the most games in Major League Baseball history. I think I had him inscribe that once on one of the cards. Just wished I didn't pay $60 for these 3 cards, but that is, you get burned sometimes on private signings. Not very often, though. Not very often guys just start signing left and right after private signings. But there you go, guys. Jesse Orosco. This was a painful return for me. All right, gang. Our 5th and final return of the day is from Lehigh Valley, PA. And we have in our final private signing envelope, we've got some index cards here, actually. And an unprotected Ramon Martinez inscribed his no-hitter date, which was July 14th, 1995. And if you guys are paying attention, you are watching this video debut on July 14th, 2024. 19 years to the day when Ramon Martinez pitched his no-hitter. Of course, he was an all-star in 1990, but I went with this inscription just because it's a little bit more notable than just an all-star selection. Of course, Ramon was a really good player for about 12, 13 years, notably with the Dodgers as well as a few other teams as well. He does not do any TTM. You won't see any successes from him at all. The only private signings I've seen him do are 1 in 2020, which this was a part of, and 2 in 2022. Each one was $25 plus $10 for inscription. Of course, that's what I got here, the inscribed star rookie card. Getting those star rookies in the 89 upper deck, all inscribed, either with top moments like that or Major League Baseball debuts is sort of my goal for my 89 upper deck set. So there you guys go. There's my private signing return video. Every time I get 5 or 6 of these collected, I'll do a video. And I'm probably backlogged. Probably can do one more video, actually. I'll just wait a few weeks to do that. But that is it for this week's second video of the week, actually. The other one was the absolutely dreadful, 240p TTM 285, the infamous one, at least in my mind. So you guys can go ahead and not watch that, if you please. And yeah, Ramon Martinez, great signer. Not very good signer at all. $35. I actually feel good about this one because I think he's a pretty tough signature. And I was glad to get this star rookies taken care of for my 89 upper deck set. What else to say, guys? Of course, I told you as many stats as I can come up to that are obviously I can find online, sportscollectors.net and some other places. Facebook groups are very good for private signings. Baseball private signings is a Facebook group I'm involved with. That's very good, as well as finding this out. Of course, the private signing tab on SCN as well. I think you need to be subscribed to that. I think that's like $15 a year, and that's well worth the subscription, in my opinion. So, also a few other things that I could be wrong on. Maybe these guys did private signings that aren't on SCN, not quite sure. Maybe they've done private signings elsewhere that didn't make it on sportscollectors.net. I know that does happen, so take some of these things I say, not with a grain of salt, but it's a pretty good barometer to see how often these guys sign. But yeah, like Ramon might sign every 6 months through some other means, I guess, that I'm not aware of. But I keep my thumb on the pulse of the TTM world. I'm pretty good at this kind of research type stuff, so I think all of my stuff is fairly accurate. Anyway, at least maybe you found it entertaining on seeing who I got and how much they cost. Thanks, guys, for watching. I will be putting up my set update videos again very soon. Stay tuned for that. And, of course, it is Sunday, July 14th, 2024 at 5 o'clock as I'm finishing this off, 5 Pacific. And in just a few hours at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 a.m. Eastern, you will find a brand new Through the Mail Monday 286. 286. That's 286 weeks in a row. If you're not aware, every Monday I put out a TTM video where I open up 5 to 10 envelopes. TTM returns that I recently got back. And of course, this week I got a spring training return back. So check that out to see who I got back, because I have not gotten many spring training returns in 2024. So I got one back this week. So stay tuned to find out who that is. And that is it, my friends. Thanks for watching. See ya.